us off with the intro.
Yeah, okay. So we are here to interview you about what it was like for you to lose your dad as a young adult. We're also going to connect some of your responses to the book we are reading right now called Everything.
Okay. Okay, so here's a summary that Maggie wrote, but she would like me to read. So, this book is about a young girl who is named Ari and her older brother who is named Gage. They both lost their they lost both of their parents. They lost their dad due to the war, and years later, their mother died due to cancer. They are struggling to get by after leaving Jana, who is a character who became their guardian, and Gage did not want to stay with her because she was rude and unfair to them.
So now they're just like kind of jumping from house to house.
Okay.
So my first question is, in the book, losing a parent affected Ari and Gage's life immediately. How did it affect your life at that time?
At that time, my dad he started with cancer right after my freshman year of high school. And then he was sick all through my high school years, and he died when I was a freshman in college, my first semester. So at that time, I was at ISU, and you're in a really big place with a lot of people, and it was very hard to realize that everybody around me was just going ahead and doing normal college stuff and being young, freshman in college, and I had no interest in that, and I felt really disconnected from the rest of them because they didn't really know what I was dealing with.
Okay, Ethan, your question?
Alright. So, could you maybe describe how Gage and Ari would have been feeling after their loss? Would you be able to speak for them?
Not the young loss, because I can't imagine being a tiny kid and losing it, but when they lost their mom, you said they were a little older, like teenagers, right? Is that right in the book?
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of it's a very lost feeling, and the thing that I remember the most is feeling like I could never ask my dad a question again. I could never ask him something about when he grew up, or it was just kind of like I felt like I was missing things, and I still needed to know them. So you just feel very lost.
Alright, in the book, Ari is struggling to get into middle school that her mother wanted her to go to. Can you make any connections to how she feels right now?
She wants to go there because that's what her mom wanted. Is my understanding there. I think you do, when you've lost your parent, you do kind of sometimes go a little over the top, trying to do what you think they want you to do, make them proud of you. You feel very obligated to make them proud. So that's probably a very stressful thing for the character in the book.
Okay, my question is, when Gage and Ari lost their father, Gage had to take care of Ari. Is there any way you could possibly relate to that?
It's a little bit different, but when my dad died, I did not go and live in a dorm or apartment in college because my dad was so sick and I wanted to be there. So after he died, I felt like I was always worrying about my mom being alone. I would make sure I would get back home and check on her, and I was afraid to move out and leave her alone. So I kind of felt like I had to take care of her. Not that she was a younger sibling, but I felt like she needed someone.
Ari and Gage didn't have really any family members that could help them cope with what happened to them or help them out with living and financial issues. Did you have any family members that helped you with what happened?
I have a really big family, and so we had a lot of support. There's 6 kids in my family, so we had all of us, and we still had my mom when my dad died, so we just all pulled together. And then when my mom died later on, as kids, we had to all just come together and help each other out.
When Gage had lost his mother and had to take care of Ari, he had to drop a lot of what he was planning to do with his life. Did you have to do anything similar to that?
I definitely chose where I went to college based on that. I stayed, like I said, I wanted to stay at home and be near my dad and then stay at home to help my mom. That was a big thing. And I did have to work a lot in college because I paid my own way, bought all my own books, paid my own insurance, all those kinds of things on my car. So it did affect me in that way. I probably had to take on a little more than most people my age had to.
Dalton.
Yeah. My other question is, Erin felt very lonely after her mother's death. What were your thoughts after your father's death?
It's just, at first, if someone's been sick as long as my dad had, at first you're kind of relieved that they're not dealing with that anymore. Even though you miss them, you're kind of happy for them that they're not suffering. But it was really more just over time, every little thing, you'd have to have a holiday for the first time without him, or something would happen exciting in my life and I would want to tell him about it. And those are the times it would kind of sneak up on you and hit you really hard how much I missed him.
Both Ari and Gage had to make personal decisions that would be best for them. Did you have to do anything similar to that?
I was kind of at an age where you're supposed to start making those kind of decisions, so that wasn't too much different. Not really. Not any different than I would have, I think, already in college age.
Mine is Ari and Gage had to leave their home when their mom died. After your dad died, did your family have to move due to financial issues or other reasons?
No, we did not, and we stayed put there. I will say, totally different though, after my mom died, I wasn't living there anymore, but we had to, as kids, we had to go and take care of emptying the house and selling the house and going through everything, and that's quite a emotional process to do.
So Ari was afraid to tell her friends at school about her not having a home and her losing her mom. So is there any way you could relate to how she feels?
I didn't lose my home, so I was way luckier than her. Kind of what I was saying earlier, just that I felt funny talking about it. For one thing, my parents were a lot older than other people's parents, so that made me feel a little bit like I stuck out. And then people would get a little weird around you if they found out that that you just lost your dad. So I chose to just kind of keep it quiet too, just because then they would just act normal and I wouldn't have to deal with it.
Ari had been struggling in school in the book. Did you ever struggle educationally after your father's death?
I did not, but I I'm very obsessive, and I was like that in school. I was always stressing about school, and that was a big thing that my dad was always very proud of. So actually, people were amazed that I got straight A's that semester in college. But I think a lot of it was kind of what we said before, where you just feel that push, you have to do this for them, and I didn't want to let him down.
Well, that is all the questions we have, so thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck with your project.
What grade do you teach?